okay, you putting this on my head? It's been a horrible couple of days because multiple people have messaged me. She want to unalive herself because she's going to be outed. And in my mind, you're saying Poetic on the platform of Bar's platform. So I'm thinking I'm the only one who has this information. And then you're putting it on me. That's not fair when I still have a 35-year-old son grieving his father from 4 years ago. So I know grief has no time limit, but don't do that to me. That's not fair. I never intended to put her information out there. But the second thing she did, she dogged Nitra. She said about the ashes. I was in that live too. People don't know where I be. I am around. You just don't know I'm around. I was there. Nitra never said for her to show the ashes. People were going to unfollow Nitra. They were going to unsubscribe to Nitra. I don't care who you subscribe to or who you follow, but don't treat somebody like that and don't do somebody like that because of lies that you hear. That is just manipulative game that she was playing. I never addressed her. I never argued with her. I never said anything to her. And I never was going to expose her. I just left all those messages there. And all the other people that are in my box, I'm not going to expose you either if you don't bother me after today. But it was so many messages, talking about this, talking about that. People don't know I'm taking care of 3 elderly people in 3 different homes, 87-year-old, 80-year-old, and 82-year-old. They don't think about that. But then they'll constantly ask you for stuff. And it's not fair to put that on somebody. And it's not fair what she's doing to me right now. It is so not fair. And I wish she would apologize for what she's doing to me and apologize to Miss Nitra because that's wrong.
Now, let me ask you this. When did she start with the month? You don't have to say the specific day, but what month did she begin messaging you? And how do you think she found you?
She began messaging me in March is when I started noticing the messages because I didn't know that there was a whole section there of messages that people that you did not follow that comes up in another section. I did not know that. And there were tons of messages in there and I did not know how to access those messages. Well, one day I figured out how to access those messages, tons of messages and tons of people asking for stuff. She's not the only one. So she started back in March. I never replied to her ever. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to touch it. She told me a whole story about her daughter, a whole story about the life. She told me all of these stories. Every time it was a different story. I never exposed that. I never exposed that until today. And then when she put it out there that she reached out to me and people were saying somebody was going to expose her. Well, you already put it out there who you had reached out to. So I'm thinking it's me that's going to expose her. And it wasn't. I was never going to say anything.
She just kept messaging you different stories. Like, was she hoping that you were going to read them one day? And when was the last time she messaged you?
The last message I got probably was, let's see. The last message I got from her. And I never shared these messages until this information came out this week. And there's a lot of people that message me that I don't share their information or share anything that they sent me. The last message I got was around June.
Has she been messaging you consecutively since March to June?
Yes, I had message from her from, let's see. Yeah, I got multiple messages from her. Looks like it started maybe end of March. She messaged me again in April. She messaged me again in May. She messaged me and Nitra around the same time and Memorial Day. Then she messaged me a couple weeks after that. Then she messaged me again in April. She has multiple accounts. She has one that's Sugar Miracles, which I knew her from Terrence's live. I used to follow Terrence. I actually was mutual with Terrence and used to actually help him win battles against people I didn't like. I've been around since 2021, but nobody knows that, nor did she know that. She just saw that I had a big gifter badge and she just saw, okay, she got a big gifter badge. She must give money. And I have helped people in the past. I have, but it just got to the point where it just was overwhelming.
Oh, I think TikTok should get rid of those gifter badges because I've seen nothing but problems since those things came out.
I agree some ways. And in some ways, I just feel like, people don't have the right to tell you how to spend your money. People don't have the right to demand money from you or get upset when you choose not to give money. They don't know what your responsibilities are. They don't know that I help 3 elderly people in my city that are my parents, that live in 3 different homes. That's a lot of responsibility. People don't think about that. My own 35-year-old son is doing his own business. I'm trying to help him. People don't think about all the things that a person has going on. I am one person When you have 50 people coming at you a week, which I can imagine what some of the larger creators go through, it's just not fair. It really isn't. And I feel bad for all the people that keep asking me about a grief session. I can't do it because I can't get through the grief of my own son mourning his father. And it's been 4 years. It was 4 years in July. I can't do it.
I'm really sorry for your loss, Poetic. So I just, ooh.
And then
So
this last thing was the unaliving of herself. You know, that has weighed heavy on me for a couple of days. I have went to work crying because people have sent me messages, about her behavior. And the only way people would know to send me messages is because she put my name out there. Had she not put my name out there, people would not have known to send me messages. Why would you choose me to send those messages to about her unaliving herself? That is something heavy to put on my head and to put on my heart, and it's not fair.
no, totally understand. No, it's not fair. Unless she was saying your name in passing, which then I totally get, because people are like, maybe Poetic has a relationship with her. Let's reach out to Poetic. You understand? But you don't. But it all depends on what she was saying about your name. Thank you.
I never responded to any of her messages. She was on that platform and it was 1.3K people in there. And they said, who else have you went to? She said, I reached out to Poetic Nurse.
It's a shame.
I'm not going to keep you. It's just not fair. I just want people to know that I am not responsible for anybody's behavior on this app with what they do to themselves. I never, ever brought up the grief and how long it takes to grieve because I know my own child is still grieving his father. They were best friends. So I never, ever pull that on somebody. And I know how it is for Glock. I don't know from personal experience, but just from dealing with her, talking to her 5 and 6 times a day. July, it was the same month for my son as it was for, her son. So it's a lot. So I can relate. I can empathize with them. So I understand. And I never brought up the unaliving of her child. I never brought that up. And I have a special needs nephew. He's 36 and we still feeding him. So I get it. I never, ever would stoop that low. I care about people. I truly try to give back to people and help people in more ways than one. I'm thinking if I'm helping people in their 30s, their 20s, you can live longer. You can do this, be healthier. I'm really trying to give back. But then to try to put that on my name, it really hurts. It really does.
I'm sorry about that, Poetic. I am. And I appreciate you coming up here to let us know.
All right. You can drop me. Have a good night.
You too, Poetic. Thank you. Man, this lady is like, I don't know too much about the lady. I don't know too much about the lady. All I know is that she has left a thumbprint across over here like nobody's business. And that was just the first story, you guys. We haven't even gotten to the rest of everything else of the day. And so crazy too, because now I heard my husband pull up. I wish he would put this vanity together. Let me stop complaining because I really want my vanity up. I don't want to keep sitting in bed eating snacks because, whatever. But yeah, this lady's story, wild. Thank you guys for helping me close on my gift goal. I'm going to set the gift goal to a nominal gift. It closes the box for 1 hour so we can get through these stories. You can hit the goal or not. The box will stay open until the goal is met. Let me get my phone. Okay. Let me get my phone really quickly. So we can get to these. Oh, hold on one second. It's my husband. Just call me. You want to press card. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, hold on. I just missed my husband. Let me get to my other pages. Sheesh. Okay. I'm a little frazzled. I think it's because I'm not in the closet. That's why. I think that's why. I think because I'm not in the closet. So let me just set the scene. Tap the screen, share the live, help me get to 300. I like hitting a million every time. It makes me feel confident. It boosts my ego. I don't have an ego, a little one, but it boosts my ego. So tap the screen, share the live, help me hit my live like goal of 350,000 likes and 675 shares. So somebody just share it to one person. Don't share it with Sugar Miracles. Okay? Don't you share it with Sugar Miracles, all right? She got enough going on. Okay? She got enough going on. Dude, leave that lady alone. Okay, there's a lot, I know. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell him too when he get in the house. Did you gift Sugar Miracle? How much you gift her? I'm gonna talk to him later because that's what he get for watching all this mess and getting caught up in these people's heartstrings and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about the grieving part. We're gonna take that out of Sugar Miracle's thing. I'm talking about the other stories that need questions answered, like the 9-year-old child. The being caught on live stream talking about they were going to set up a skit for someone to cry to get gifted, like OMG Terrence. I'm talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the other stuff. The grief stuff. Again, none of us are grief counselors, so we can't determine perception. We can't determine any of that, you know. So it's just like, but don't share it to Sugar in the ambulance. What's going on, child? We was just talking about Sugar Miracle. Sugar. Okay. So, Lord, I know it was a lot. If you guys don't know, let me catch you up to speed. Tap the screen. Help me get to 350,000 likes and 710 shares. So Sugar Miracles, while I set this, live goal to lock the dough. So if you guys don't know, Sugar Miracles is a grieving mother here on this app, and she had what's the word I'm looking for? She had lost her child back in 2020, and so she has a hard time grieving, and so she and a hard time working, right? Because grief comes with not being able to supplement and take care of yourself, and so Sugar Miracles had started reaching out to creators on this app, and she started what's the word I'm looking for? She started reaching out to people, but it became this big thing where she was reaching out to a lot of people and sharing these heartfelt stories and whatnot, and this, that, and the third. And so she had started sharing these stories, and then this when the inconsistencies came in. One about her mother being in an ambulance, and people were asking, can they speak to her mom? And she refused to let them speak to her, but people said they didn't hear anything. Another one, an instance about having a 9-year-old child after her husband's passing, but no one knows where the 9-year-old child came from. Other instances of her being affiliated to a known scammer here on TikTok by the name of OMG Terrence. And so there's just so many questions that were circling around. Well, she had done like this big crowdfunding on Barb's Live, and I think she made a sizable amount of money. My husband gifted her too. And so I'm like, okay. So she made a good amount of money from doing that. But what brought everything to a head was, I guess this was a recent, not a recent, but a couple of months ago interaction. And this is probably what got Sugar Miracles caught up. She went and made a statement about Miss Nitra. You guys know her as Judge Trendsetter, and said that she had asked Judge Trendsetter for $37 because she needed help with something. And she stated that Miss Nitra, Judge Trendsetter, had said to her, well, let me see your child's ashes, something of that regard, if your story is true. Sugar Miracles never produced any receipts of it. And it was kind of left away until Sugar Miracles brought that story out again and said it again. And that's probably when people started setting their sights on her. Like, who is this lady? What is she thoroughly accusing Miss Nitra of? And what exactly is she fucking asking for is the question. And so I think when she resurfaced that quote unquote alleged conversation between her and Nitra, or those alleged statements from her and Nitra, I think that's what caught people's eye. Like, who is she? And that's when the digging happened. According to Glock, members of her community, her church, had started exposing her, saying she's just a known scammer in our neighborhood. People on the internet said she's a known scammer on the internet, allegedly, and so on and so forth. So that's what we just covered. So we're going to cover what's it called? What else was going on last night and then into the wee hours of the morning. So hold on, you guys, there's a couple of my box. Let me see what they want and then we'll get back to it. Okay. What's up, Blaine?
Nothing. You ain't been answering your phone.
I'm busy right
First
now.
of all, your text messages, you're not answering.